With voters heading to the polls on Tuesday, all eyes are zeroing in on Wisconsin candidates crisscrossing the Badger State. Plus, an incredible find for one company in our region, giving American history another chance at the open road.
WPTZ News Channel 5 at 6 starts now.
The Wisconsin primary now just 3 days away. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Sheahen. A loss for Donald Trump could mean trouble, while Bernie Sanders is hoping to keep up momentum after a series of primary wins. Chris Pallone reports.
Speaking with Republican Party loyalists in North Dakota, Ted Cruz took aim at frontrunner Donald Trump, portraying himself as the only Republican who can win in November.
And if we nominate Donald Trump, it hands the general election to Hillary Clinton with a big silver bow. He loses by double digits. Let me tell you, I beat Hillary Clinton.
Polls show Cruz leading in Wisconsin heading into Tuesday's primary. Trump, speaking in the Badger State, kept up his attack on Cruz.
Well, they want me to act presidential. They don't want me to call him Lion Ted, okay? Lion Ted.
Trump even took a shot at Ohio Governor John Kasich, who hopes to win the GOP nomination during a convention floor fight in August.
Kasich is not going to be able to help you, folks. Believe me. He's not going to be able to help you. He's middle of the pack.
Kasich didn't want to speak to reporters about Trump in Wisconsin, but it was clear who he was referring to during his town hall.
If you get somebody there that's an ideologue, or you get somebody there that doesn't understand how to move the system, we will continue to drift.
For the Democrats, Bernie Sanders was also looking ahead to November.
I know there is a lot of concern in Wisconsin and around the country that Donald Trump might become president of the United States. So let me reassure you, that will not happen.
Meanwhile, the Democrats are having a debate about debates, with the Sanders and Clinton campaigns bickering about dates for a potential New York debate. It's where Bernie Sanders was born and is Hillary Clinton's adopted home. Voters go to the polls there April 19th. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
New tonight at 6. It was what officials say $1,000 just disappearing into thin air. There was a natural gas leak early this morning at NG Advantage in Milton after a safety mechanism designed to vent gas from a truck during a fire emergency was accidentally triggered, releasing the equivalent of 2,000 gallons of gas into the air. Firefighters from several departments responded to the leak to make sure the flammable gas was venting up and not near any power lines. Officials say the leak didn't have any effect on the surrounding neighborhoods.
Doesn't impact the neighborhood at all because it goes up and it goes away. It's not a good idea to release methane in the air. Nobody does that deliberately. It's not that it's poisonous, but it's a greenhouse gas and you don't want to do that. And so we design everything that we have to avoid the release of methane.
Now, the company is still investigating why the safety mechanism was triggered in the truck and hope to have answers at the end of this weekend. And state police arrest 2 people for possession of cocaine. Police stopped a car on Canal Street in Brattleboro, Vermont. The driver, Mark Folks, was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. Folks allowed officers to also search the car and its 2 passengers. Rob O'Brien and Joseph Rindu were arrested after that for possession of cocaine. Rob O'Brien had a felony amount, and Joseph Rindu Jr. had a misdemeanor amount. And also in Brattleboro, Vermont State Police made a possession of heroin arrest after a routine motor vehicle stop on William Street. Police searched a car and found one bag of heroin on 28-year-old Jessica Rose. Rose was also found to be on conditions of release from a prior drug possession charge. She was arrested for possession of heroin in a violation of conditions of release. A little rain here and there today, but all around, you know what? It was pretty nice today. Get a little bit of sun, still can get outside, but I hear those temperatures are on the drop.
Yeah, you can almost feel them coming in from the west. It is going to be very chilly out there. Tomorrow is going to feel more like late February than early April. Let me take you outside right now, looking across the Champlain Valley. We see some mix of clouds and some sun. If you look carefully, you can see some fall streaks in those clouds. It means we got some precipitation falling to the west of the Champlain Valley right now. Wind speeds picking up now in the teens from the northwest in the Champlain Champlain Valley, a little bit stronger than that in Messina. Temperature there at 43 degrees, 48 in Burlington, temperature 48 as well in Middlebury and Springfield. In the southern half of the region, we're looking at temperatures still in the mid to upper 40s, but all of that is going to change. Saving these numbers right now because things are going downhill in a big way temperature-wise. Storm tracker showing a few light showers of maybe rain and snow across the region right now. Again, very light stuff for sure, but the big operative word will be wind as this system energizes and moves in our direction. Possible wind gusts to 50 miles an hour in the area shaded in that lighter brown color. We have a wind advisory in effect until 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Temperatures falling, winds up. It is going to feel very, very chilly tomorrow. Your complete first alert forecast coming up in a minute. Jennifer?
Well, one ski resort celebrated spring in a pretty chilly way. Sugarbush Resort hosted its annual pond skimming event this afternoon. 100 brave skiers suited up or dressed down in their craziest costumes to try and skim their way across a 120-foot pond of frigid water. Some stayed dry while others wiped out. Even a few tandem teams made it all the way across the pond, a Sugarbush skimming record.
It's spring at Sugarbush. It's a beautiful day, and everyone's out there smiling ear to ear, dressed in costumes. It's the perfect end to a ski season.
It does not matter if we've had a great year or a bad year. You saw today, nobody cared. It was an unbelievable crowd.
A basket of fruit on her head. That was real cool. Awards were handed out to the best costume, style, and splash. Whether you're used to bowling strikes or gutter balls, it really doesn't matter because you can hit the lanes in Plattsburgh tomorrow for a good cause. The Kenny Drug Store on Boynton Avenue is hosting a bowl-a-thon to benefit the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. The fundraiser is open to the public and runs from noon to 4 at North Bowl Lanes. It costs $100 for a team of 4, and so far there are about 20 teams signed up. CMN Hospitals is a nonprofit dedicated to raising funds and awareness for local children's hospitals in the U.S. and Canada. Organizers say all of the money raised tomorrow will go to the Vermont Children's Hospital to help kids here in our area.
To provide better care for children and make it an easier time for them to go through their experiences, with surgeries.
Over $3,000 worth of prizes will also be raffled off. And if you'd like to get in on the fun, you can sign up at the Kinney store on Boynton Ave or at the bowling alley. A New Hampshire company that restores vintage automobiles got quite the surprise recently. Inside a town of Winchester barn, they found 18 Cadillacs from the 50s and the 60s. And now they're getting them ready for new owners. Andy Hirschberger of our sister station WMUR got a peek at those cars.
They are beautiful models of American engineering that are getting a second chance to tear up the open road. 18 vintage Cadillacs from the 50s up through 1970 were found in a barn in Winchester, and now the people at Dusty Old Cars are fixing them up and getting them ready to go.
It's an incredible find. To find these vintage of cars sort of this close to home for us in New Hampshire, it's unprecedented.
Most of the time when you go to a collection, there's different models, different makes. This was all Cadillacs. The guy was a Cadillac guy, so it's very exciting.
Jason Cox says he and the previous owner agreed on a price, and earlier this month they moved them to their garages in Derry and Nashua. 4 of them are currently in working order, including this 1956 pink Sedan DeVille and the most valuable model, this 1959 Fleetwood.
There's not very many of them left. Find another one. Find another one. You're not going to find them readily available across the country.
These cars are, of course, for sale, but what these guys are really trying to do is connect this car with the right owner, to find someone who will love it and has a connection to it, to find it a good home.
A lot of people, their grandparents had them, their parents had them. They're exciting. They're fun to drive, they're fun to work with.
I look at ourselves as a sort of a preservation of American history, and that these cars are still rolling after 50 years, it's awesome. I mean, it's incredible.
It was the car to have back then, and it will soon be the car to have again tomorrow. Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Coming up, officials at the Brussels airport announced it will begin operating tomorrow. What the airport company's CEO has to say. Plus, an 11-year-old girl already overcoming incredible obstacles and now befriending President Obama. You're watching WPTZ News Channel 5.
You're watching WPTZ News Channel 5.
The first flights in nearly 2 weeks are expected to take off from the Brussels airport tomorrow. 3 departures are scheduled and will be under very tight security. Both people and baggage will be scanned before they can even get into the building. On Monday, officials expect the airport to be operating at around 20% of capacity and able to process 800 passengers an hour.
A restart of the operations, even only partially as quick as this, is a sign of hope that shows our shared will and our strength to resurface and not to let our heads down. I just want to thank every member of our airport community and all the partners involved that have all made this possible.
This announcement comes less than 2 weeks after a suicide pair of bombers struck the airport's departure lounge, killing 10 people. They were among at least 32 people killed in attacks that day. And Belgian police arrested a suspected protester in Brussels today after authorities announced a ban on demonstrations. Riot police were deployed to the Brussels neighborhood of Molenbeek, where a demonstration was planned by a far-based right group. Molenbeek has a large Muslim community and has served as a departure point for many of those who are involved in the attacks in November and in March. Police also detained some 24 protesters at the Place de la Bourse in central Brussels, where a counter-demonstration had been planned to protest Islamophobia.
Now, First Alert weather with meteorologist Gib Brown.
Gib,
Hey, Jennifer, I didn't see you at Pond Skim.
I know.
I was expecting to see you in costume and everything else.
Maybe
Disappointed,
you,
I'm telling
you said the one here in New York is happening maybe, in the coming weeks. And you know what? I'll go.
Okay. It's probably going to be next week at Whiteface. At
All
least that's
right.
what they're hoping to see anyway. They had to cancel theirs for tomorrow. I've heard that under good circumstances. Anyway, things are going to be very blustery and cold out there. So a very, very chilly day. But right now, enjoy it. 48 degrees with mostly to partly cloudy skies out there. Pretty good evening, but things are going to be changing. We'll see a few rain and snow showers overnight tonight, and then blustery and cold on Sunday. Temperatures going to be feeling very, very cool. As a matter of fact, probably with the wind chill in the teens for some of us. Now, we're going to see some snow showers early in the morning tomorrow, and then we're going to see a much more active weather pattern shaping up for the end of the week. So things looking pretty nice out here. Burlington at 48, but look at the numbers upstream, 23 in Sudbury and up in Timmins at 16 degrees. So things are going to get a lot chillier because this air is heading in our direction. Satellite radar shows that we do have a few light echoes across northern New York and some across the eastern portions of Vermont into the northern portions of the Upper Valley. This is pretty light stuff, but areas to our south could be seeing a little bit more in the way of snowfall later on tonight and early tomorrow, as this spin right here is going to be sliding southward and across portions of, say, Massachusetts up into the extreme portions of Vermont and New Hampshire. We might see a little bit of accumulating snows there to the tune of about an inch, but overall most of the snow from this system will stay to our south. And then we have another system to talk about that'll be arriving on Monday. So here's the first little system right here. This is going to be pushing through later on tonight into early tomorrow. Cold weather behind this system, and temperatures are going to then slowly begin to moderate as we get you into the next day or two. This system comes through. This is going to be producing more in the way of snow, especially over the southern half of the region. This high pressure system drops in from central Canada. That'll give us a couple of dry days and warm up things a little bit, and then we're going to be seeing more in the way of inclement weather by the time we get to the end of the week. Futurecast timing things out for you tonight. A few snow showers, and then things will be drying out. By the time we get into Sunday morning, we're going to see some light snow moving across extreme southern portions of Vermont and New Hampshire, but most of that staying into portions of Massachusetts and even Connecticut as well. And then we're going to see those skies start to clear during the afternoon hours, and it's going to be blustery and cold, northwesterly winds at times gusting to 30 miles an hour. Then we do it all over again on Monday. Monday morning, some snow across the southern portions of the region, mainly cloudy skies across the central and southern portions of the Champlain Valley, and then sunshine to the north. Overall, Monday, another chilly, blustery day. Temperatures not getting into the 30s for most of us. And then Tuesday, Tuesday afternoon, things quiet down. Wednesday's looking pretty good. Thursday, another system is moving our way. 25, that'll be our low tonight with rain and snow showers, and the temperatures turning much colder. High tomorrow, only 29 degrees in Burlington, 33 in Lebanon. Temperature only 23 degrees for high in Saranac Lake. Morning snow showers and then sunny, blustery, and cold for the remainder of the day. Now, on Monday, we're going to see some snow to the southern portions of the region. Then Tuesday, dry weather, 31, 41 degrees Wednesday, and then breezy on Thursday with a lot of rain shower activity, 51. And then keep your eye on Friday. We're going to call it snow and rain. We're going to watch this system. It could pick up enough cold weather that some of the stuff could be accumulating snows on Friday, especially in the hills. And then as we get you into Saturday, just a chance of a few rain showers, 37 degrees. So overall, a real tumultuous week ahead. Jennifer?
Thanks so much, Gib. An 11-year-old girl from Crofton, Maryland, who's already a published author, has a new pen pal. President Barack Obama. Lisa Robinson has the story.
Dear Madison, thank you for sharing your story with me.
11-year-old Madison Strempek wrote to President Barack Obama in February, and this week he wrote back. Madison asked the president to help her father, who is in prison.
I wanted to help my dad or other convicted felons to get out of incarceration, have a job, a house, and then, and be able to live a happy life out of jail.
The president told Madison the White House is working to help her father through the Federal Interagency Reentry Council. He says they are pushing to improve programs that help those leaving prison get housing, jobs, drug counseling, and more.
Never thought he would actually read my letter, and it was like, wait, really? When she told me, it was like really exciting, and I remember getting my letter in the mail. It was really cool. I remember opening it and reading it. It was really awesome.
Madison sent the president more to read, a book she wrote called Everyone Makes Mistakes, Living with My Daddy in Jail. Madison says when her father went to prison last February, she had a hard time and could not find a book that could help her through it. So she decided to write her own to help kids in similar circumstances.
Just letting them know they're not alone and that they don't have to keep it inside. Because if they keep it inside, it's kind of just going to stay there. If you don't get it out in some form or way, it's just going to hold you back from getting better grades or just anything in general.
The president was so impressed with Madison, he invited her to the White House Thursday for a discussion on women and the criminal justice system. Madison got to introduce Attorney General Loretta Lynch.
But Madison, I want to thank you, not just for introducing me today, but for using your voice and using your passion for justice, something that I think is very important, particularly for women to do, because our voices carry a lot of weight.
Wow, what an incredible young girl. Well, coming up in sports, the 2016 Girls Tier 2 Hockey Nationals pushes on. Jack Cordy has the highlights and scores coming up right after the break.
Day 3 of the 2016 Girls Tier 2 National Hockey Championships brought us the final day of pool play. Teams finished up their round robin in hopes of advancing to the quarterfinal rounds. We'll start with 14U Potsdam taking on St. Albans. Both teams were taken to a shootout in separate games Friday. First period, it's the Saints with the best chance, the steal and the breakaway, but the shot would be denied. And we remain tied at zeros. In the second period, Hannah Zenger, the wicked Rista from the point, puts a little curve on that thing, takes a little dive. 1-0 Potsdam out in front. Same period. Shot taken. There's a little bit of a scrum in front of the net. I see a football tackle somewhere in there. Either way, puck ends up in the back of the net. Michaela Sapullo credited with the goal. 2-0 Ice Storm. Third period, Margaret Wilmshurst. The laser shot. No chance for the goalie there. Potsdam goes up 3-0, adds another 3. Both teams advance to the quarterfinal stage of the tournament, though. Another local action. The 19U Vermont Shamrocks woke up bright and early this morning to take on Skaneateles. Vermont fell in a shootout 4-3, but still advances to the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, the 16U Vermont Shamrocks took care of business against Brewster to advance in the tournament. Local teams making a big old statement at the 2016 Nationals. Let's head to the lacrosse pitch now. Vermont visiting Stony Brook. Pick it up late in the second half. Nice day down in Long Island. Not a nice day for UVM. Meredith Moore gets the goal there. That stops a 33-minute scoring drought for the Catamounts. UVM down 18-7. Later, Seawolves tack on another. Mackenzie Burns, the defense. It's 19-7 Seawolves. Vermont will add another. Courtney Cole credited with the goal here, but a tough day in Long Island for the Catamounts. Final score of this one, 19-8. There's a big game going on in Orange Country tonight. No, not Orange County. That's California. The Syracuse Orange, yeah, the ones from New York, will take on the top-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels in the Final Four. That game tips off from Houston at approximately 8:49 p.m. Let's not forget about the women. They, too, have a date in the Final Four, but that game doesn't tip off until Sunday night. Finally, how about some baseball from north of the border? Russell Martin carrying the 1976 Olympic torch into Olympic Stadium in Montreal. He also carries the Blue Jays in the third inning. Sharp single to right field. Toronto up 1-0. Top four, David Ortiz in his final spring training at-bat rips a double down the right field line. Of course, Big Papi does, chugging around first base. He would end up leaving the game after that. The fans give him a nice salute. Ken Drake spoke to Ortiz in Montreal yesterday. We'll hear more from Mr. Ortiz tonight at 11. Later, though, back to the game, Ryan Hannigan belted. Red Sox come back to take the game. Final score, 7-4 up in good old Montreal north of the border. That's sports.
Today is a very special day. It's National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. Huffington Post readers were asked what makes the best PB&J. Strawberry jam came in first, then grape. White bread ruled, and the peanut butter had to be smooth. I like mine nutty, but hey. A 2002 study found the average PB&J loving U.S. citizen eats 1,500 of these gooey sandwiches before they even graduate from high school. 1,500? I guess it's not a lot, though.
I'm strawberry, crunchy, and wheat bread. That's just me, though.
I have to agree. That's the perfect PB&J there.
I'm not a peanut friend at all.
No, yeah. Get away.
And I'll tell you what, I may not be a friend tomorrow when you see those temperatures. Temperatures are going to feel like the mid-teens during the afternoon.
Oh, bless. Come on back.